Are you wondering how to 10x your content creation using AI without burning out? Well, that's what I'm going to show you in this video. And I know it sounds very clickbaity, 10x content. You see these types of titles everywhere on YouTube, but literally content distribution and repurposing is king. And we can use AI and automations, just like I'm showing you right here, to help us out with this. So I'm going to show you this process in this tutorial, so be sure to stick around for the full video. And if this happens to be your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Ryan, and I help marketers and content creators use AI to scale content, grow an audience, save time, and ultimately make more money online. Now, the reality here is that AI is going to replace millions of marketing and content jobs, but it doesn't have to be you. And if you want to stay ahead, be sure to get my free AI Marketing Essentials Guide. In my free guide, you'll get access to my favorite AI tools and prompts that I use for marketing and content creation, some of my custom GPTs, and also some of my AI automation templates, and so much more. You can get my free guide by clicking the link in the video description or pinned comment below. So I said it before and I'll say it again. Content distribution is king. The act of repurposing long-form content into short-form content variations using AI while also maintaining best practices and your style, your writing, your tone, etc. is how you stay levels ahead of everyone else. The best content creators out there are definitely leveraging AI and repurposing and redistributing all of their long-form content into short-form variations. Now, there are two ways that you can do this. I'm going to talk about this as the second way, which is using an AI automation, but the first way of repurposing and redistributing long-form content is manually. And what I mean by manually, I'm not talking about going to the main screen of ChatGPT and just shotgunning prompts. You can definitely do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm talking about customized versions of AI, like Claude projects, like custom GPTs, or even ChatGPT projects. And so that is the first method I'm going to show you in this tutorial of redistributing or repurposing long-form content into short-form variations is manually through customized versions of AI. Now, this is where I would suggest starting if you're newer to AI automations, but I will tell you one downside of doing it this way is number one, it takes a lot more time. But number two, I've found that through experience, best practices of creating GPTs and projects is to have one use case per GPT. So an email GPT, a blog post GPT, a social media GPT, etc., versus trying to stuff it all into one GPT and expecting great outputs. I haven't had a lot of success doing it that way, so this method is a little more tedious. Now, for this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repurpose one of my long-form YouTube videos into an email newsletter. And this is part of the content strategy that I actually use in my day-to-day. So I'm going to use a custom GPT for this. And by the way, this is inside that free AI marketing guide I mentioned earlier in this video if you want to get access to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a long-form video on my channel. Let's go ahead and do this review of Blotato. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the video, and what I'm going to do is copy the title. Let's go into my custom GPT. I'm going to click this conversation starter. When I provide a topic and video transcript, generate an email newsletter. So I'm going to do video title, and then I'm going to do video transcript. And to get the video transcript, if you're unfamiliar, simply click in the video description under transcript, show transcript, and then I'm going to copy and paste this entire transcript. And again, you can probably see how tedious this can become if you're doing this a lot over time. So I'm going to go back to my custom GPT, paste that in here, and then I'm going to simply copy and paste this. You'll see why I'm doing that, as I'm going to do the same thing over in my Claude project. So I'm going to hit enter. By the way, I want to make sure that I'm on 4.0 as the model, not 0.3 or 0.4 mini. I'm going to hop over to my Claude 4 project. I'm going to paste those outputs in right here, and then I'm going to click enter. I do like Claude Sonnet 4. That's a very good model. And then I'm going to skip ahead and wait till these outputs are complete. All right, and also keep in mind that both this GPT and my Claude project are trained on my knowledge, my data, my previous email samples, and other instructions that I provided on the back end. So let's take a look at the results from this GPT first. First of all, let's look at the subject line. Can Blotato replace your social media assistant? Not bad, but if I had to guess, the majority of my email list has probably never heard of Blotato. So I would do something like, can this AI tool replace your social media assistant, right? Something that piques a little more curiosity, but not bad either way. And then here's the email body template. It has the first name goes here, and then it has the typical stuff that I do in almost every email. Here's what stood out, blah, 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 top AI news of the week. Kind of call to action at the end there with a PS until next time. So not bad, right? This is definitely a good start. I don't know why it did that. This is definitely a good start that I could come in here, copy and paste, go to my email marketing platform like ConvertKit, Beehive, etc., and then make some tweaks, edits, and go from there. Now, if we look at my Claude project, I would expect these outputs to be better in my opinion. I just have more knowledge behind it. I like Claude Sonnet 4 better as a copywriter for tasks like email marketing. And so if I look at this AI tool impressed me. I mean, yeah, that's a much better subject line, no doubt about that. And if we look at the body is actually a lot more in depth than what ChatGPT or that custom GPT came up with. So I'm actually very impressed with what I'm seeing here, just looking at it high level. And so what I would do again is I would come in here, copy and paste this entire thing, go into my email marketing platform, which by the way, I do use Kit, formerly known as ConvertKit, start a new broadcast and then paste it in here. Or if you're using Beehive or whatever other email marketing tool that you're using, you would still have to manually copy and paste these outputs in there. But again, this is better than just going to the homepage of ChatGPT or trying to do this manually. So this is one level above that, but you can see how still doing this manually with customized versions of AI, whether it's a GPT or a project, can be very time consuming for repurposing and distributing content. So enough of this manual work. Let's talk about AI automations now and how we can use these to repurpose long form into short form content variations while ensuring it's still matching my writing style, my tone, my instructions, etc. And if you're new to AI automations, I know you're probably looking at this screen and thinking, wow, Ryan, this is overwhelming. This is confusing. Where do I even get started with this? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave this template in the video description below. You can download it, upload it into a platform like I'm using right now called make.com. You can also do this with Zapier, N8N, Gumloop, etc. Any AI automation tool just like make.com. And so what I'm going to do now on a very high level is just go over each one of these modules. That way, if you guys get my JSON file from the video description, you're following along, you're trying to troubleshoot this yourself, that way you can easily know what's going on versus me just building this from scratch. That video would take a super long time. So first things first, let's start with the YouTube module. So to find this or to find any module, all you would do is click add a module, click this little box right here, click this circle right here, and you would type in YouTube. And here's the YouTube module right here. And what we would want is watch videos in a channel. Now, I'm not going to set this up because I already have one right here, but what you would do is first establish a connection to your YouTube account, which I've done that right here. And then you would need a channel ID. So if you click ID Finder, what you want to do is find your actual YouTube channel that's in your URL. So if I go to my channel and I go back to my YouTube channel on the homepage here, let's see if this loads. Click videos, you'll notice this is my ID right here. So I would copy that, come back into the automation, paste it here, and then it would find that ID. Now, in terms of all the other fields here, I would leave both publish before, publish after blank, just leave it at 1 and click save. Now, the next module, we need a YouTube transcript scraper. Now, there are several ways you can do this. I like Dumpling AI. They have a very generous free plan. You could use Appify if you want to do that. I'm sure there's other workarounds for this as well. But with Dumpling AI, you need to create a free account. So, and I'll leave all these links in the description below, by the way. It's just dumplingai.com. And then with the free account, you get up to 250 credits. It's 2 credits per video. So a very generous free plan. And so once you have an account with Dumpling AI, what you need to do is click API keys, generate a new secret API key, generate a key, and then back inside that automation, when you click add, this is where you would add that Dumpling AI API key. I'm not going to do that because I already have it established. Now, for the YouTube video URL, this is the exact URL that you need to type in. This is the default URL for every YouTube video. It's the beginning of every YouTube video URL. And then after you type this in right here, your YouTube module should show up. And what we want is video ID. I would include timestamps, just leave it at 5, and then preferred language English, and then I would click save. And by the way, as you're building this out or you're reverse engineering things, make sure you're frequently clicking save on the bottom or your work will not be saved. Now for the next module, this is what's called a tools module. And so if you click into this, if you're using my template and following along, you'll notice this can look very confusing with different, social media IDs, variable values, etc., etc. So what I'm doing inside this module is I'm integrating a tool called Blotato. And I have a full review on Blotato you can find in the video description below. I also have a link if you want to try out their free trial. But this is really an all-in-one AI solution for content creators. I'm a really big fan of Blotato and the team behind it. So I'd recommend checking it out, and I'll show you why I'm using it in this particular automation. So once you sign up for an account with Blotato, on the left-hand side, you would click settings, you would scroll down, and I talk about all of this in the review, by the way, so if you want more detail on that, I'd watch my Blotato review. And then as I scroll down, you'll see here I'm integrating all of my different social media accounts: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X or Twitter. And when I do that, including the pages, they all come with a page ID. And that's what I like about this. And I'll explain why you need this here shortly. So once you've integrated all your social media accounts inside Blotato, what you want to do within this tools module is simply fill these in one by one. Now, the very first thing you need to do is add your Blotato API key. So what you would do in your case is you would X this or get rid of it, go inside your Blotato account, and then at the very top here, it says there should be an option for API. Yep, copy API key. So you'd copy it, come in here, paste the API key right here, and then we would scroll down one by one and enter the different IDs for our social media platforms. So Instagram ID. If I go inside Blotato, I'm going to X out of the other tab. If I go back to Blotato, copy account ID, go under my value here for Instagram, there's my Instagram ID. Same with LinkedIn, same with Twitter. So if I go to Twitter, let's go back to Blotato. Here's my X or Twitter account, copy account ID, and then I'm going to paste that in right here. And this is one reason why using a platform like Blotato is so important inside automations, is because certain platforms like Twitter or TikTok or even some of these other tools, they don't necessarily have integrations, or they struggle with the outputs sometimes, right? So Twitter, for instance, doesn't have an integration inside make.com or other automation platforms. If I type in Twitter, if I type in X, there's XAI, but there's no actual X social media platform automation. So just something to note there if you're wondering why I'm using Blotato and not trying to integrate all of these other accounts with platforms in the automation tool one by one. So that's the reason for doing that. Now, I'm going to zoom out, and you'll notice I have what's called a router that's now routing this off into different areas. And each one of these areas is the short form content output. So up top here, it's hard to see. Let me zoom in one more time. This is a big automation for sure. This says create email newsletter. So this is my email newsletter portion here. And then this goes into a Google Doc for an email newsletter draft. This is my LinkedIn post module with Claude. This goes to both a personal page and a LinkedIn business page. Same with Facebook. I have a Facebook business page and a Facebook personal page. I also have a blog post module here with Claude that automatically syncs with my WordPress account. So I can automatically create an SEO optimized blog post, either publish it live or put it in draft mode for me to review. And down here, here's my Twitter integration. So I have a Twitter module, right, where I'm giving it instructions and best practices for how to create social media posts on Twitter using my Blotato integration as a workaround to actually post straight from Twitter or X's API. And so first of all, let me just say this. So for the very first time, I'm going to test this in a little bit, but if you're wondering how to actually set up these different Claude modules, and by the way, you can use OpenAI, you can use Google Gemini. You don't have to use Claude as your AI module, but if I click into my email newsletter module, for instance, the first thing you'll need to do, and this is no different across any AI platform, is you need to integrate your API account. So you'd click add, and then you'd have to add an API key here. And so here you'd go to council.anthropic.com. Make sure you have a balance. You can throw in like $5 and you should be good to go. Click API keys, create key. You'd create a key for make.com. You would copy that API key, come back to make.com, click add, and you would paste that API key right here. And that's how you would integrate with an AI platform like Anthropic or Claude for this instance. Here's a quick little automation tip. I'd recommend using cheaper models whenever you're testing. Claude Haiku 3.5 is one of Anthropic's cheaper models on the API pricing side. But if I'm actually running this in real time and using it, I would be using Claude Sonnet 4. That is Claude's best model right now for copywriting. But since we're going to test, I'm going to do Claude Haiku 3.5. Just put it at 1,000 for max tokens. For the role, we want user. For the content, we want text. And for the actual inputs, this is the secret sauce here of AI automations, is what you're actually inputting the different modules. This does look long, and I know it can look confusing. And I do have this inside my community. I leave all the different JSON files, all the different instructions. So I have an email one here. If I click here for the prompts, you'll see this is where I'm leaving all the different instructions here for my different modules. So it's very long. I'm not going to leave that in the video description below. But if you want access to this stuff, be sure to either get that JSON file and upload it. That's a free way to do it. Or you can join my community. It only costs $1 to get started inside my community. Now, that's just the email example. What you would do here is the same thing for LinkedIn. You do the same inputs that I just showed you, but obviously the text would be different because now we're creating a LinkedIn post. Same with a Facebook post, same with a blog post, same with a Twitter post, right? And if you upload the JSON file, once again, a lot of this stuff should already be in here. Now, what you're going to have to do is integrate your accounts. Obviously, I'm signed into my Google account in this instance, but the rest of this should still be similar. You'd have to obviously find a document or create a document for this example. Same with LinkedIn. You'd have to integrate with your LinkedIn account, Facebook account, integrate all the different things with your Blotato account right here, your WordPress account. If you use WordPress, let me click auto align, Twitter, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now let's actually give this a test. So before I click run once down here to test it, I will say you'll notice some of these paths are disabled. So like for instance, my Facebook personal page and also my LinkedIn personal page, I would recommend disabling anything where, you have a large following or just certain personal pages where you don't want AI generated content to show up unless it's fine-tuned, it's reiterated, it looks good. Whenever you're testing automations, I would not recommend posting to personal pages with large followings or even email platforms, right? That's why I'm going to a Google Doc as just a draft. And for WordPress, I have this saved as a draft as well. Just keep these little things in mind as you're testing. Now, what we want to do here to test this automation is first we want to right click this YouTube module, and I'm going to click choose where to start. Then we can click choose manually. So this way we can manually test a specific video. So here's my Blotato review. I'm going to click that, click save. And now let's actually go ahead and test it. I'm going to click run once, and I'm going to skip ahead and wait till this automation is fully tested and complete. All right, so after about 30 seconds or so, the automation went through successfully. There was not one error. Typically, every time I'm testing, there's always an error somewhere. So I'm actually shocked. So that's good to see. So first of all, what I want to do is actually go check on my social media platforms to see if this actually posted. So let's go to my Facebook page. This is one of my business pages. I'm going to refresh. Let's refresh here. Let's refresh my other LinkedIn page. Let's refresh my Twitter or X account. Let's refresh my WordPress site. And then also let's look at, here is the email newsletter that was generated. Let's actually start here. So this automatically came from that automation. You'll see Blotato, AI content creation game changer. And then here's a little template here of my email newsletter. Now, this wasn't as good as my Claude project. I could definitely go back and reiterate those inputs, make them better, and then just fine tune, test, repeat. This is the name of the game. We always have to go back inside modules, add things, remove things, just testing things until we are satisfied with the outputs. But regardless, it did work, and this is not a bad first start that I could definitely come in here and edit along a further time for an AI marketing email newsletter. Now let's go to WordPress. If I refresh my WordPress page, let's look here. It looks like here is a blog post that was created. Blotato, the best AI tool for content creation. So if I go ahead and click preview, this is in draft mode right here. And so yeah, this is in draft. So Blotato review, SEO title, meta description. I like how it's properly formatted in H2 and H3 Markdown, which is what I assigned it. Pricing and plans. I like how it has the video embed where I would embed the actual YouTube video, pros and cons, FAQs, etc. And again, this isn't perfect, but it's a dang good start with an automation where I'm simply hands off once a YouTube video is published, and we can come back and edit from there. If we go back to my X or Twitter account, here's the tweet right here. Now, what I noticed is that I'm actually going to delete this. I don't want people to see that. And so it cut off right there, as you saw. So that's definitely some work. I'm going to have to come back and redo that iteration, but it did work, right? That's what I'm trying to show you in this instance. So let's refresh here. Here's my LinkedIn business page, and it looks like this one worked correctly. It didn't cut off. It's using an emoji with a little hook at the beginning, followed by hashtags. It actually followed the instructions correctly there. So I'm actually going to delete that. And now let's go check my Facebook page. I don't think I posted on my LinkedIn personal page, but I'm going to double check that here really quick. No, I didn't. So if I go to my Facebook business page, so here it is right here. So that worked out well too. So I'm going to delete this, and I will have to come back and edit my Twitter or X module with Claude and refine those outputs. So I'll come back and I'll move the trash, right? So I couldn't even see it in here. Let's move it. But regardless, this automation did work correctly. And again, you can get my template for how I built this automation in the video description below versus trying to create it from scratch. But that's it. That is how you repurpose and redistribute long-form content such as long-form YouTube videos with option 1 manually through custom GPTs, Claude projects, Chat GPT projects, Google Gems, Perplexity Spaces, those types of customized versions of AI. But as you saw, it's very manual, it's very tedious, can be very time consuming. Or option 2, we can leverage AI automations that track and monitor my YouTube channel and then automatically transcribe it and repurpose it into the short form variations using it this way. One thing I forgot to mention here is that you would want to set a schedule or set an interval. You could do it once a day. You could do it every time a video is published or any other scenario or interval and customize it to your liking. But that is how you repurpose and distribute long form content to short form content variations while maintaining your style, your tone, etc. And so if you've made it this far into the video, I want to say I appreciate you. If you found value in what I was showing here, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, leave me a comment below. Are there any other AI automations that you guys are using? How are you repurposing content? Really want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But most importantly, I hope you all have a great day.